Recording, and I will turn it over to Quality Matters' own Racheal Brooks to introduce and kick off the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And welcome everyone to Quality in Action. I am thrilled today to introduce a dear colleague and an amazing scholar, our keynote speaker, Dr. Siobahn Grady. Dr. Grady is the founding director of the Institute for Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Research at North Carolina Central University, where she leads cutting edge initiatives to drive innovation and technological advancement. Additionally, Dr. Grady is an assistant professor and program director of information science and systems in the North Carolina School of Library and Information Sciences at North Carolina Central University. She heads the Laboratory for Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Research, and she also serves as an Office of E-Learning Faculty Fellow. Her remarkable journey began as the first woman to earn a PhD in computer science from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in 2018, where she made history yet again just this week by being inducted into the inaugural North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University Graduate Alumni Hall of Fame. Dr. Grady's research explores artificial intelligence, human-computer interaction, and broadening participation in STEM. She applies machine learning to combat misinformation, improve autonomous vehicle safety, and develop frameworks that enhance the reliability of healthcare algorithms. She also studies public perceptions of AI and works to expand education and workforce opportunities in technology. As the director of the Institute for Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Research, she advances AI research, digital literacy, and workforce readiness, ensuring that technological solutions are practical, effective, and widely applicable. Her pioneering work has been recognized nationally and internationally. Dr. Grady has presented at prominent conferences, and her impact is immortalized in the largest exhibit of women's statues and museums across the country through her role as an as-if-then alumna. She also established 6 merit-based, STEM-focused endowed scholarships at all historically Black colleges and universities within the University of North Carolina system. These scholarships have provided financial support for students pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. It is my esteemed privilege to introduce our keynote speaker, who will provide insights on AI in action, transforming online learning, design, and teaching, the renowned Dr. Siobahn Grady.
Dr. Brooks, thank you so much for that warm introduction. And I am honored to be here with you all this morning. So I am hailing from North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina to be exact. And I'm so excited to be here with everyone this morning and share some insights on this whole world of AI that we've been hearing about, that for some are a buzzword. And so I invite you to join me in this journey that we're going to take this morning together. And if you would, just go ahead and scan this QR code and also go to the website, enter the code. And when you finish, if you can just hit the thumbs up so I can check and see to make sure everyone's with me. So I'll give everyone just a few moments to do that. And I thank you in advance for your participation and engagement in this keynote session. All right, once I see us get about halfway there, I'll advance to the next slide. Okay. So you've heard the name of today's keynote, which is Advancing AI in Action, Transforming Online Learning, Design, and Teaching. And I'm extremely excited to be here with you today. And I'm not even going to get into who I am because it sounds like Dr. Brooks has already done a really great job of that. However, I just want to let you all know a little bit more about, what sparked my interest in artificial intelligence. Right now, it seems like it's a buzzword, but for me, it's been something that I've been interested in for quite some time. And so AI for me, it wasn't about a robot or a research paper. It was the realization that I had to know that AI learns from patterns. And it takes information, behaviors, preferences, habits, and from that, it can predict our interests, anticipate our needs, and respond. And for those of you like me, you probably have some smart devices in your home and other things. And that is what truly fascinated me, not because of the technology, because it means that AI can learn from our patterns and that maybe we can use those patterns to understand people, maybe our students, and in particular, perhaps even build systems for teaching and learning. And so that curiosity to study AI, and not just as a field, but for a tool for understanding, that it can bring my research, my teaching, and now it's helped me with my leadership with our institute at North Carolina Central University. And I'll share just some brief insights from the work that I'm doing at the institute. But that's what got me started. Here is how our discussion will go today. We'll talk about how AI is transforming the design of online learning. We'll talk about how it's reshaping teaching, real-world examples of AI in action, ethical considerations, and also what the future looks like. So my first check-in question with you, I want to know who's in the room with me. Have you used AI in online teaching or design? And I'll give you all a few moments to check in here. All right, and as you all keep locking in your poll vote here, this is interesting and it's what I love to see, a great mix, which is a reminder that we're all at different points in our journey with AI, and that is okay. But the goal here today is to offer something for each of you, no matter where you're starting from. So it looks like the majority of you use it regularly, which is amazing. And it looks like some of you, 6%, are curious but haven't tried it yet. But luckily, I don't see any skeptics here in the room. So that's okay. So AI's role in online learning and course design. So we already know that it's completely transforming the way that we do all things, especially with our course design. But let's think of it as a co-designer, if you will. AI can help us with drafting our learning objectives and outcomes, recommending activities based on student profiles. It can even help us generate quizzes or some case scenarios, and it can adjust content based on our learner feedback. And I have some examples that I'll share with you here shortly, but just knowing that we can actually have personalized content for our learners, that we can actually meet the needs and meet them where they are. Having that specialized content creation or even using it to help us have better content for our courses. This is the goal for me today to you, is to recognize it as a tool and perhaps even a co-designer with us as we move forward in this new age. And so the key is harnessing its power, but also being ethical in the way that we use the technology. So I have a brief video that I'm going to share with you on the next slide, but there's a case study. Before we get into the case study, I just want to share with you a couple of things. There are so many AI tools out there, and you all can just give a thumbs up on this slide if you agree with me, to the point where sometimes it can be extremely overwhelming. Is anybody out there overwhelmed with all the AI tools? Well, I'm not here to talk to you about all the AI tools out there because there's just too many. But I'm going to share with you one that Bolton College is using that has helped them, and perhaps you've heard of it. And by the way, no one has given me any promotional, swag or anything like that to promote this next tool, but it is one that you might find helpful. But with this case study of Bolton College, I just want to share, they use a tool called Synthesia, which does video editing and content. And with that, they were able to generate over 400 plus online learning videos, reduce their content creation time by 80%, And also it enabled them content without faculty overload. And so many of us are extremely busy as faculty members or instructional designers or even administrators. And this particular tool could probably help. And I'm just going to show you an example of what they were able to accomplish using this tool. Give me one moment to play this video for you.
At Bolton College, you're expected to attend all your lessons and activities. This includes lessons, lectures, workshops, work experience, online learning, tutorials, enrichment activities, and one-to-one progress reviews. Attendance and punctuality are essential if you want to progress and achieve your goals, especially if you want to go to university or get a good job. So always aim for 100% attendance and punctuality to maximize your chances of success. If you're late or miss college too often, you could miss too much work and struggle to catch up. You could fail to achieve the grades you need, fail your course, or lose your place on your course. If you consistently attend college and arrive on time, you can achieve a college certificate, which demonstrates to employers and universities that you can meet their high expectations. Of course, the college knows that there are many valid reasons for being absent or late. Every case is different, and the college will work with you individually to address your needs.
Now, that was just a short, brief video about attendance. And perhaps some of you may be saying it's robotic, it's not natural. But I will tell you, it can be in a huge game changer because you can craft a video just like that in probably less than 5 minutes. That is a huge game changer because if you can provide that tool, a script, and also you get to choose what type of avatar that you want, it's truly customizable, but that could be a game changer for so many of us who probably take a lot of time to record videos and content, and this could simplify the process. This is just one example of what is already out there on how AI can change the way that you do your online course design and learning. And that was from Bolton College, and that's just one case study. And I have another that I want to share with you here shortly as well. But remember, for those of you that are on the skeptical side, AI is not perfect, but it is a tool that can help us be hopefully more efficient and effective at what we do. So I want to know from you, since a lot of you here in the audience today are already using AI, what is one part of your course development process that AI could help you streamline? And I'll give you all a few moments to lock in your response. All right. I love it. Learning objectives. Okay, so you all are already using it in all of the ways that I think you should be, which is great. Rubrics. Rubrics are so helpful. Doesn't it make our grading much easier when we do it? Asynchronous engagement, development of content, lots of learning objectives. And the reason why I like to do this is because sometimes we learn from each other and learn how to use the technology in ways that we hadn't quite imagined. So I love to see this using Descript for to generate AI voice speech for slides in lieu of instructors recording lectures. I love this. Engagement strategies. I'm in the right place because it seems like everyone here really cares about their learners and wants to do a great job of what they're doing. And you're already finding ways to use the technology effective. So that makes me extremely happy. Now, when we think about AI and teaching and student support, some of you already mentioned some things that you're doing, such as student engagement. But there are also other tools out there that are, that I'm going to give you another case study here, but AI has tutors, those chatbots that can talk to students when you're not available, real-time feedback. There's so many tools, which I'm not here to promote any tools or all of them, but you can use AI to help you with generating feedback. That's not to take away from what your subject matter expertise is and, giving your learners feedback, but it can help you. Also, there are things now that can give you those smart analytics to, track students' progress in your course sooner rather than later. And again, we understand how personalized learning is so important because not all of us are the same. Luckily, humanity is not a one size fits all, which I so appreciate because I love learning from others who don't think like me and have new ideas. That's really how we grow. And that's the same thing that we want for our students, for them to have a growth mindset. Here's the next case study. And I want to share this with you because it's exciting. Because even though generative AI took a boom around 2 years ago in 2023, AI is not new. It's been around for years, since the 50s. And this particular case study that I'm going to share with you all is from a professor at Georgia Tech, where he developed a technology called Jill Watson. And so it is a teaching assistant that answers student questions inside of the learning management system. The students didn't even realize that it was AI, and it helped those humans and TAs focus on deeper interaction with the student. And so if you haven't heard about this, I have the link here provided on the next slide that you can see that's powerful. But just having those chatbots kind of answer simple questions for your learners, like when is the next assignment due? And a lot of the learning management systems have advanced since this time. So keep in mind, this was about 8 years ago. But, in Canvas, it can have those due dates. But what if the learners could just ask questions about the syllabus, something that they probably would email you about? They could just talk to a chatbot and get that information. Wouldn't that be great? So let's take a look. And I just want to show you, I'm starting at the 2-minute mark, but I just want you to hear from the professor who developed this. And there's a link here on the slide if you're interested in more. And I'll share all of the resources at the end of the presentation, but why he wanted to develop this technology. Let's take a listen.
Few students get personal attention. We even have these massively open online classes in which students learn from pre-recorded video lessons. Some of these classes attract 100,000 students, but only 10% or less complete because lack of teaching assistance and personal attention. This raises a fundamental issue for us. Can we have personal attention at scale? What if we could give personal attention to every student when and how he or she needed it? Now, I think that would create an educational revolution. Because learning and teaching would become personal again. Now, I work on artificial intelligence, AI, and my goal is to use AI to make education fun. It all began in January 2014 when Georgia Tech started a new educational program. They call it Online Masters of Science in Computer Science. The program offers graduate level classes. Professors record video lessons. Students can access these video lessons through a company called Udacity. Professors, teaching assistants, and the students engage with each other through an online discussion forum developed by another company called Piazza. In 2014, as part of this program, my PhD student.
And I'm going to stop there, but I hope that you all appreciate what he said about a revolution. That's the goal, making our courses fun so that we can change the way that our learners and students interact with us. What if AI could help us do that? I don't know about you, but I'm going to just take a brief moment here because I don't know who's in the room, but I'll just say this. I'm a millennial. And what if some of you are like me, you're a millennial, or perhaps you're a Gen X or a boomer or something in between? What if AI could help us interact with our Gen Z learners better? Because let's be honest, generationally, we're all very different in the way that we think, the way that we go about doing things. And I believe that AI has the potential and power to help us achieve this, to help us have better communication and interaction and engagement with one another. And so I really appreciate what he was saying there about it being a revolution. And keep in mind, he did this about 8 years ago. There's another demo video to show how it works, and that is on the slide. And I'll share that link later if you're interested in more about that, because it is downloadable that you could integrate in your learning management system. Now, I just want to take a few moments to briefly talk about the work that I'm doing at North Carolina Central, not to brag about what we're doing, but to more so empower you and to perhaps speak to your administrators on things that you might want to start considering or doing at your institution. And also, I take this as a moment to welcome collaboration, because that is what it's all about. We all learn from each other, we grow from each other. And I do believe that this is a part where we're not watching the revolution, we're actually a part of the movement. And so I welcome you all to learn from some of the work that we're doing at North Carolina Central University, but also welcome an opportunity to engage and learn more about what you're doing there. We had an opportunity to actually get funding from Google to start an AI Institute. The unique thing about this is the first of its kind at any HBCU in the nation. And if you don't know what an HBCU is, that stands for Historically Black College or University. And with this grant, we consider this a seed funding opportunity to get things off the ground. So the Institute aims to reach 200 students over the course of 2 years, and we can do this in a multitude of ways. But as you can see here, is to engage in AI-related opportunities through research, courses, and mentorship and internship opportunities. And I think I'm in the right place, so I think you all see value, but I want to reiterate that AI is really not a buzzword. This is not the future. This is the now. And so it is transforming things. The sooner that folks can adopt this technology and prepare students to be at the nexus in the forefront, the better. So that is the work that we're doing and why we get started. Just want to share a little bit about the impact that we're having. AI, I'm a computer scientist, but AI didn't start for everybody. But I'm here to tell you that AI is for everybody at this point, because we have tools now that allow us to access it. And so the impact that I'm having on campus, you can just see here, is faculty. The faculty at our university are extremely engaged and wanting to be at the forefront and learning about how to use this technology. And there's some work that I've been doing to help achieve this goal. And one of the goals is through AI literacy. We've had several workshops on campus that I'm going to briefly talk about, and it's through partnerships that I've been able to acquire with industry partners. You might be saying, why is that important? Well, it's important because our industry partners are the ones that are developing a lot of these tools and technologies, such as OpenAI. They actually came to our campus in January. They'll be back again later this fall, and they completed an AI literacy workshop, and it was truly impactful for the attendees. It means so much when you hear everything from the technology that is developed by the people who make it are there talking to you. And so just having them in the room, coming and speaking to our campus, having Anthropic, who also makes Claude, coming to campus, speaking with us, and so many others that you see on the screen. I'm doing a transformation on campus, and I hope that at your institution, something similar is happening there. If not, please contact me, because I'm trying to develop a framework that can be scalable and achievable at all institutions. And so what we're doing is partnering with these different industry partners, and other things will come about soon. And also, I just want to share there's other things that we're doing too, such as pouring into our faculty, allowing our faculty to apply for seed grant funding who want to do research in AI. We're coming up with all kinds of great programs to get the whole community involved. And when I say community, that's our faculty, staff, and students, but also our local community in Durham, North Carolina. North Carolina Central is a beacon in the Durham community, and we're trying to empower everyone that is around us as well. So stay tuned. I love to collaborate and connect with you all who are interested. And these are just some photos from some of our events. And the biggest challenge I'd have to say is just helping everybody see that AI is for everyone. because sometimes people think it's only discipline specific, but I'm here to tell you now that the tools are widely available for everyone, it behooves all of us to kind of tap in and learn more because it is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's not a buzzword. It's the now. If you get nothing else from me, remember, it is the now. With that being said, if you could use AI to assist with one task in your teaching, what would it be? And it can be something that you're already doing right now or something that you hope it can do in the future. And it's okay to be unsure about it. Let me just say that. And as you can see again here, the possibilities are wide. It looks like many of you definitely grading and feedback, but the majority of you are looking to create practice activities, which is great, and detecting at-risk students, which I think is what we all would like to do, honestly, because we want everyone to be successful in our courses. I don't think any of us gets joy from seeing our learners not realize and achieve their full potential. And again, it's okay if you're still unsure because again, everything's wide open. And again, we learn from each other. So don't feel confined to any of your responses here on the screen. And thank you for all who are commenting in the chat as well. I'll get to that later. Now, we do have all of these tools and all of the things, but we want to ensure engaging, accessible, which I saw someone in the chat just ask a question related to accessibility, and impactful online learning. So again, there are many tools out there, but when we're selecting a tool, we probably need to prioritize tools that have a human-centered design. We want to make sure that the technology we're using was thought of us in mind or whatever specific thing we're looking for. We still want to maintain our autonomy, right? These tools are not here to replace us. We are all subject matter experts in what we do. These tools should be nothing more than an aid to help us in being even more effective and efficient at what we do, right? AI is not to the point right now that it doesn't require human oversight or human in the loop, if you will. So we're still very much needed. Also, we want to make sure that we're promoting inclusive practices. I had the pleasure of writing a white paper a few years back with Dr. Brooks on this particular topic. Feel free to refer back to that if you need ideas on how to incorporate some inclusive design in your courses, but make sure that you're leveraging AI to help you do that too. And then you want to make sure that you're upholding ethical AI principles. One of the challenges that I hear all the time on my campus, and I don't know, but if you can just drop it in the chat, is on your campus, are faculty concerned about students using AI to cheat? Or is it just at my campus? If you can just write yes or no in the chat, I would love to see. Okay, so I'm not alone. I love this. I want to talk about that at the end because I want to share a resource with you all at the end about this. I think that's a lot of our concern, but the truth is, I saw earlier on the slide, it looks like about 60% of you are already using AI to help you. So let me ask you this, and we'll talk about it at the end, but if you're using AI to help you and you're not cheating, why is that a mentality or thought that we have about our learners? Perhaps they're using AI to help them study better. This is something that I'm working on at my own institution. But that growth mindset is something that we really need to have, not only encourage our learners to have, but we need to have that too, because AI is simply changing the way that we do things. So I just want to point that out as well. Yes, I like that, Megan, the power dynamics. Now, also, when we talk about ethical considerations, I mentioned to you all AI literacy. That is one of the reasons why I'm having those industry partners come to campus and speak with the entire campus community. AI literacy is so important. And perhaps a lot of the reason why cheating is the only thing that comes to mind is because a lack of AI literacy. So this is something that I encourage you all to have conversations at your institution about how you can get some AI literacy, or perhaps if you don't want to speak to the higher powers that be at your institution, maybe just start within your school or departmental level. But we know that with new tools and new technology, there comes new responsibilities. But we have to keep in mind that there are challenges, right? So there's promise with AI, but there's also some peril there too, which is algorithmic bias, which is, again, this is when data is trained on data that already has the bias, and it reinforces inequalities. Privacy. A lot of the tools that are out there, when you choose the free option, your data is fed back into the model. And this is why it's important, again, the AI literacy component, because you need to make sure that you're not inputting any personal or identifiable information, any trade secrets or proprietary information into those models. Again, but if you don't have the AI literacy there, you may not know to do that. Also, academic integrity. This is where, as instructional designers, faculty, we have to think about, what does that look like in this new age? Do we really want to penalize students for using AI, or do we want to better understand how they're using it to assist them in their coursework? This is not to say that you don't need to have boundaries for how the technology is used. Not boundaries, but this is not to say that you should just discount it altogether or make every assignment that you do AI friendly. But this is an opportunity, and I'm going to talk about strategies at the end, where perhaps you could do a pilot one semester to try something new in your course and see how it goes. We're in a whole new digital age now, and this is an opportunity for us all to grow and learn together. And perhaps we may even learn something from our learners and our students as well. So I think the goal here is to be open-minded. And again, I talked about algorithmic bias on the last slide, but also we know with these systems, there's a lack of transparency. Now, there are some models out there now that show the reasoning and how it came to the conclusion that it came to, but AI can still very much feel like a black box to many. And so there is a lack of transparency. And I did already mention the data privacy issues there. So there are some challenges. Again, just like humans, we're not perfect. Our technology is not perfect either. And so that's the true core of it. And we have to keep these things at the forefront. But there are some things that we can do to promote ethical use. Number one, we want to, especially for our learners, establish some baselines or some principles of how, AI is used. Now, if you're an AI developer, you can use the technology and make sure you're using principles to guide your development. But also as faculty, or whatever your title is, you can also use some principles there in your courses. Also, perhaps you want to assess some of the tools that you choose to use, assess them for bias, right? You can do that too. We don't have to accept every tool as it is. We can do some test measurements, and perhaps if you do have departments on campus that are computer science and other things, you can have them, because there is some open source large language models, but you could perhaps develop your own AI or large language model that is specific to your institution. This is an opportunity here, which is great because this is leveling the playing field, so to speak. And then with all technology and all things that we do, we know that we learn and do more when we have diversity. Let's be honest, we don't all think the same. And I think that's a blessing. And I think even now, we should take our time to not necessarily be bothered when other people don't think the same way we do, but try to understand why they don't. And perhaps in this new climate that we have, we should see this as an opportunity to get better at what we do, because obviously there are some things happening where we're not all on the same page. So I encourage all of us to kind of think or reimagine some of the ways that we do things, because at the end of the day, I do believe that we do all want to move forward and make our society better for all humanity. With that being said, I've heard about what you like about AI, how you're using it, but now I want to know, what concerns do you have about it? Okay, I love this. I see a lot of privacy issues. Definitely the digital divide, right? We already know people already don't have access to technology or maybe need some upskill training. You know, AI, this, if they don't already have access, they're going to continue to get left even further behind. Again, that trained bias, that algorithmic bias, lack of critical thinking, students cheating, sharing of my information. Environment, I like this. Oftentimes we forget about the environmental aspect. False hopes for AI detection, having to continue to learn. Okay. Student reliance on it, dependency on AI. I think all of these are legitimate, but I want us all, as you're continuing misuse by the Doge, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you all for your feedback here. I just want to share with you one thing. Again, I told you I'm a millennial, and I don't know who's here in the room as far as what generation, but for those who are like me or a little older than me, does anybody remember when the internet came about? That was a big problem. Do you all remember? And even I think I was in grade school and I remember uh, faculty members saying, don't get your information from the internet. You have to go to the library. Anybody else remember something like that? And look where we are now. We still utilize the library, but now we have this thing called the internet, which allows us to get access to our scholarly journals and other information like that. But at the time, it seemed like it was taking away from something. So I'm not necessarily telling you how you should think about this, but I'm just telling you we're not new to this. The only thing that is constant is change. And so, again, this is not a buzzword, this is a now. We'll have to figure out how to get better at these AI technologies and tools, and we'll have to try our best to hold them accountable. I was a part of a panel last year for QM with some amazing scholars as well, and we talked about this. There was an executive order with the last administration, at least giving some type of parameters around AI innovation. We don't have that now. So when there's no regulation, right, that's the accountability piece for these big tech companies. So we have to try to hold our legislators and other folks accountable to try to put some parameters around that. But just food for thought. Now, the future of AI and online learning is vast. You know, sometimes it seems like we don't know where we're headed next because things are just changing so quickly every day. And AI is evolving fast, and that's because it learns. But also, it's challenging us. And I saw on the slide that someone said having to learn something new. Yes, it's changing the way we do things. It's making us learn and have to adapt quickly. And unfortunately, humanity doesn't move as fast as technology. So we're already seeing advances in generative AI that creates these immersive simulations, having those real-time analytics. It's just a good thing, but it causes us to respond more quickly. And again, we can think of AI as a co-pilot, essentially, if we like to. These tools can, again, suggest activities, give us or scaffold feedback, and also flag struggling learners in real time. But here's something that's key. We have to continue to lead with purpose and not just with tools. We are still at the center and the forefront of our learners. The AI is just a tool to help us. And I believe that technology is not necessarily shaping the future, but we are. We have a say and a voice in all of this and how it's going to be utilized in the future, which is why I think it's important that we use these tools, figure out what works, what doesn't work. And again, as I share strategies with you here in just a moment, this brings us an opportunity to think about that. So this is what I want you to think about that you can do now. You can try one tool. There are thousands of tools out there, honestly. There are so many. So find a tool that you like, use it well, experiment with it. I mentioned one tool today. The trouble with a lot of these tools, and I'll be honest, and you can just give me a thumbs up if you will, but it is, you have to pay to play. Is anybody else kind of annoyed by that a little bit? Or is it just me? The really helpful tools, they cost money. And even like Synthesia that I mentioned earlier, it's expensive. And that is the trouble with some of this technology, which is why the digital divide will still be here, because it costs. And those free accounts that I mentioned that people use, data is fed back into the large language model. There are some steps you can take to try to ask it not to do that, but that is a problem. But still try one tool out. If you like it, perhaps this is where advocating at your departmental level or school or college level, or even bumping it up university wide. Try that, especially if there's something that works well for you in your unit. But try one tool. The next thing I think we should all do, and this is an opportunity to not work in silos, but to work together collaboratively, but talk with your colleagues, see what they're doing. I will promote this, the Office of E-Learning on my campus, they do an excellent job promoting and sharing great tools for engagement with learners and to help faculty members do what they do even better. But again, talking with one another is how we're going to get to the place that we want to be. So talk to your colleagues, see what they're doing, see what's working, see what's not working. Also, educate yourself. Learn about bias, the data privacy, and the AI ethics, and even consider doing some AI literacy. I will share with you all some resources, but I'll share one resource now. Those of you who may not know, OpenAI, they have something called OpenAI Academy. That now they came to our campus. Now they now have an online platform for free that you can actually tap into and see some courses and learn from them. So you don't have to wait for your university. You can go ahead and empower yourself. But there are so many different organizations who are doing things like that right now. Even Microsoft, they're having an AI Skills Fest. I think it started on April 8th, I believe, and it's going through May. You can sign up. You don't have to wait for anyone. You can do this for yourself. And then the next thing is, after you've educated yourself, of course, if you can have these components in your syllabus, do it, but also help your students. Remember, they're learning from us. We are role models in the things that we do, whether we want to be or not. So let's help empower our students and have conversations around it. And we can help them use it responsibly and also creatively. I don't know if it's going to take their critical thinking away, because remember, as I said earlier, they're a different generation. So who am I to say what it will or won't do for them? But I do think this is an opportunity that we should all seize the moment. So again, consider having some AI literacy workshops. Again, think about, faculty innovation. Again, on our campus, we're doing grants for them, and have some policy and guidelines if you don't already. Encourage that on your campus. And again, additional strategies here. I've already talked about a lot of this, but the one that I want to point out here is pilot and iterate. This is an opportunity to try something new. Some of you may have been dying to try something new. This is the time. You can pilot it out. And if you really like what you're doing, you can make it a research paper. This is where you learn and grow. So please consider that. This is an opportunity. And this is why I told you earlier that the conversation this morning is a journey for us to walk through together. I want to learn from you. AI is my subject matter expertise, but I'm not omniscient, I don't know all things. I too am learning. So please consider this an opportunity for all of us to continue to engage in this wonderful QM community that we have and learn and grow together. That is what it is all about. So I've talked a lot, but you've been great listeners. And so I want to know, what's one next step that you feel ready to take after today's session? Is that trying an AI tool in your class, starting a conversation, learning more about AI ethics? Are you still figuring it out? I really want to hear from you. And I'll give everyone time to put their responses here. And one last thing as you're doing this, there are no wrong answers. No wrong answers here. The opportunity is just for us to move forward. Okay, so it looks like support student use of AI is kind of leading right now, which is okay, because honestly, let's be real. The reason why a lot of us do what we do is simply because of the students. I like to think of students as the heartbeat of our institution because they keep things going. It's a beautiful thing to watch them grow and develop through the years and then go on to do great things and to know that we had a part in that. At least for me, it is, but I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. So it looks like student use of AI is in the forefront, followed by trying AI tool in my class. I love that. And then starting a conversation. And I do want to share with you all, and I'm going to go to the next slide, but I'm going to share with you all a couple of things. So when you logged in today, QM has a Padlet. I have already put in the Padlet a resource for you from the QM conference last fall that I did with my amazing panelists, which is to how to get things going at your university. At North Carolina Central University, we have an AI working group, and we've had that working group since 2023. We have a professional development committee. We also have a policy committee, and we also have, I forget what, research committee is the last one we have. And those committees have done so well. We recently on our campus had an AI symposium for our entire campus, and it was amazing. But these are opportunities to get outside of your department per se, if you're thinking of doing something engagement, campus wide, to really get the conversation started. Again, when we work together, we get a lot more accomplished. And so there's a resource there in the Padlet that I put there for you. And I'll put some other resources that I'm getting ready to share next with you. The next thing is for those who know about Claude. Claude is the equivalent to ChatGPT, but it's developed by a company called Anthropic. They came out with an index in February, and I'll share that link in the Padlet too. And I think it's important that you read it because it talks about what type of people they see really using Claude. And they've even done some investigation to understand how students use it. And I'm here to tell you, it's not for cheating. It is to explain things to them or to create practice questions for them. And that's why I brought to your attention, why is it that we think the first thing that comes to mind that our students just want to cheat? Why don't we think they just want to learn? There will always be someone who wants to cheat, let's be honest. That's been that's been happening since the beginning of time. There'll always be those who want to do that. But I don't think that should overshadow those who actually want to be better at what they're doing and learning and just want to be the best at what they do. So I think faculty and instructional designers, all of us, I think we're called to have a growth mindset too, and think more positively about the students that we deal with. But I will share that link with you too. They have a whole index. You can read it, learn more about who's using the technology. I will say those who are more technology inclined use it more, but that's to be expected. But there are so many great things within that index. I also am going to share another resource with you, which is the Open AI Academy platform that's available. I will put that in the Padlet. And then I think I can talk about it, Dr. Brooks, but can I share with them what's coming up next month? Or
Please
is it top?
do. No, that's fine. Go ahead and
Okay.
put it out there. Let them know what's coming.
I'm excited because I have the extreme honor and privilege of working with Dr. Racheal Brooks, and QM will be presenting to you a white paper on AI in education. And so we're very excited about that. There will be some evidence-based practices, a toolkit, if you will, to give you more parameters and things to think about so that you can continue to be excellent in what you're doing. And that will be happening in the month of May. So please be on the lookout for that. On the screen here also, for those of you who want to stay in touch with me, please do. This QR code will take you to the newsletter that I do every month for my institution on what we're doing with artificial intelligence at the Institute for Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Research. Keep in touch with me. I welcome the opportunity. And I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for having me this morning. And I just want to leave you with something. We often talk about our future as if it's something that's coming for us. But here's the truth. We're the ones that are building it. Every time that we choose to do something with empathy, every time that we invite AI into our practice with curiosity and caution, every time that you advocate for students and equity in digital spaces, you are helping to shape what learning will be. And so I encourage all of you to continue to dream big, ask those hard questions. I saw a lot of them in the chat, and keep showing up as both an educator and also an innovator and partner in this. AI is here and it's in good hands because it's in yours. And I want to thank you. Thank you, Quality Matters, for having me today. And if there are a few questions, I'm happy to entertain them. And I hope that you've gotten something from this keynote this morning. Thank you. Sometimes if there are no questions, that means I did a good job. So I'll take that as a compliment. So thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. That affirmation is in the chat. I really appreciate that because sometimes you don't know, especially when you can't see any faces on the screen. So you never know. But thank you for that affirmation. I greatly appreciate it. It's been my honor. Well, Dr. Brooks, I will hand it back to you to tell everyone what's next coming up. And again, I hope to hear from some of you all, and perhaps we can collaborate in the near future.
Thank you so much, Dr. Grady, for a wonderful keynote. You've really set the tone for the day, and we are super excited as we are getting ready to go into our next sessions. I'm going to pass the baton to my colleague, Jim, who will be able to give a little more information about what we're going to be doing next. But I just want to, as we see in the chat, express our deep gratitude for not only the work that you are doing, but also the insights that you have shared for all of this. This has been phenomenal, and we are really excited to see the various ways in which all of our colleagues are really truly putting quality in action. So Jim, are there any additional details you'd like to share with the group before we get ready to transition into our next sessions?
The next session start at 15 past the hour, so you have until then. So that's really all that I would need to share as well. So thank you very much, and see you at the next session.